Hello, if you're joining us, please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat as we wait to get started. Welcome. So good morning to Peter, where it's also 8 a.m. for me.
Mm-hmm.
I see we've reached our webinar start time, but I'm going to wait just a moment or two because I know that it can be difficult to get started with a meeting technology sometimes. It's great to see the introductions. Welcome. Thanks to everyone for attending and sharing where they're joining from.
I'm really curious what time they are now. It is 8
Yes,
o'clock in the
share your
morning.
time.
7 a.m. Thank you. Wow.
Yes.
4
Some
p.m.
people are getting up early and staying up late.
9 p.m. Singapore. Thank you.
Welcome all of you. Okay, I'm going to get started with our introduction. Hello, and welcome to the webinar, Relationships, Not Just Technologies, Why Connections Matter for Global Resource Sharing, which is sponsored by the IFLA Document Delivery and Resource Sharing Standing Committee. Our speakers today are Peter Bey, Library Director of Bowdoin College in the United States, and Ibrahim Farah, Public Services Librarian at University of Balamand in Lebanon. I will not take all of their speaking time, and instead I thank them for speaking with us today, and I invite them to get started. Thank you.
Can we start?
Yes, please do.
Okay. So this is the title of our presentation, and let's go. Good morning for those who are in Americas, North and South, and good afternoon those in Europe and the Near East. And then also maybe I can go further in India, and then good evening up to, I guess, Singapore. It's 9 p.m. And after the Singapore, I don't know what can I say. Thank you. Thank you for joining it. I saw registration from New Zealand, which is 2 a.m. currently. If you are joining from New Zealand, you have my admiration. Good for you. Thank you. So we prepared some snacks here virtually. I hope you enjoy it. In a way, what we are going to talk today is like this. It's a very common, and you will see every day, but sometimes you forget. So this session is not providing what you have not know yet, but it is something to refresh what you already knew well, and then you can go restart from here. Okay, now introduction of the presenters. And today, actually, because we are all about the relationship, I will present my dear friend Ibrahim Farah first. Ibrahim is a public services librarian working at the University of Balamand Library in Lebanon. And Ibrahim is one of the smartest librarians that I ever met, and he is full of new ideas. And I don't recall when I first time met Ibrahim, but it was a long time ago, and we worked together since then. I remember one time when I was in Lebanon, Ibrahim and I met with a late night snack because he was, he flew. That was my first night in Lebanon, and Ibrahim flew from Jordan after he directed a conference, a workshop with other librarians. Ibrahim has a vast network of librarians in Lebanon and nearby countries, and he's very active in IFLA. He's important now. His role in IFLA is he's member of the copyright and legal matters advisory group, I believe, advisory committee in IFLA. So he's a very important person. And Ibrahim speaks French, Arabic, in addition to English. So if you have any question about how to find Arabic books, Ibrahim might be a good person to contact. I don't think Ibrahim will mind if you ask any question about books in Arabic, and then he will try to connect with others who can provide you the resources. And Ibrahim has a beautiful and very energetic two sons, which many colleagues already knew well, thanks to their active participation in our Zoom meeting. So, Ibrahim.
Thank you, Peter. I'm so overwhelmed with this unique introduction. So we all regard ourselves as friends, not as like very important people. We are doing our work. But I thank you for this unique introduction of the human in me disguised in a professional rap. And I thank the over 500 registered librarians from all over the world who are coming today to hear us talk. I'm sure they are not coming to listen to me, but they are coming to listen to the resourceful and charismatic Singil Peter Bey. And I bet 80% of you know him personally. So I'm not sure when I first met Peter, but I guess it should be in IFLA, Puerto Rico in 2011 or later. But I know that we share many characteristics and we instantly become friends. For me, Peter's formal title is International Librarian, but he is formally, he is appointed recently as the University Librarian at the Bowdoin College in Maine, USA, also known as the Small Ivy. So I congratulate Bowdoin for that, and I envy the librarians, the library employees for having Peter as their director. Previously, he was part of the Princeton University library team. He also served in many ALA and IFLA committees. He's active everywhere, actually. I cannot mention all his professional activities, but I can truly say that I memorized many of his presentations, which are full of ideas and amazing stories. So some personal information about Peter. He's Korean by origin, American by normalization, and Italian by heart. He speaks 3 languages to my knowledge, Korean, English, and Italian, since he spent part of his life traveling around Italy. So we also share this aspect. We both feel that either we were Italians in the previous life, or this is the location of heaven reserved for us later. So Peter is married to a wonderful and supportive lady. And he mentioned the visit to Lebanon. He was the speaker at the Lebanese Library Association, and I was coming from Jordan. So Carla, my friend, is a picture here. She met me at the airport, and we went to taste Lebanese sweets. We almost had an accident, but we survived. We didn't have the accident, and we still share this wonderful memory. So finally, Peter and all the friends gathered here today, you make our professional life more enjoyable, and I hope that you enjoy this presentation today. Thank you for this.
Well, thank you, Ibrahim. We discussed this as it's all about the relationship. So we thought maybe we can introduce each other, introduce just oneself. Then I'm overwhelmed what you said, Ibrahim. That's too much. Okay, so maybe this is long-winded introduction of presenters, but I think again, this is in a way that we try to show you our human. We are human beings, and we are valuing our relations. And thank you, Carla, for allowing us to use the picture. Those Lebanese sweets are great. You should try that. Okay, but after all, we are all librarians, and we are part of IFLA. And you may not think that you are an IFLA member, but by being a member of another IFLA members, meaning if you are part of the library organization that is IFLA member, you are automatically an IFLA member. Or if you are working in a library that is an IFLA member, you are also IFLA member. So for me, IFLA is a way, especially for us in dissociating librarians, IFLA is an important organization because it allows us to make the connection with other colleagues. I first time attended an IFLA meeting, and then I met colleagues from all over the world whom I'm still connecting, communicating. Some of them are every day. And one particular episode that I remember was then in around 2011 or 12, I met a gentleman from Zimbabwe in Africa. And I think Collins has registered, so he might be around among the participants. If you are there, hi, Collins. So I met Collins in one of the IFLA meeting. And then, Zimbabwe, I don't think I have never requested anything from Zimbabwe, but still, we are colleagues, we talked and we shared our business card. And after I come back to my library, I found a request as someone asking a dissertation from Zimbabwe. In a normal sense, there's no way it'll be very difficult to get it. But since I know someone in Zimbabwe whom I just met, so I contacted Collins and he tried to help. He helped me, even though it is not belong to his library, but he tried to connect me with other librarians in Zimbabwe. And since that happened, I thought, wow, this is the power of IFLA, power of the network of the librarian. So I became more active in IFLA. And what about Ibrahim? Why are you so active in IFLA?
Well, my first experience was Puerto Rico. I won a scholarship to go to Puerto Rico in 2011, and I didn't know what to do when I was there. I was very young, so I said, why I don't go to the meeting of the DDRS committee? So I just joined the meeting, and people were happy and surprised that someone just joined the meeting out of nowhere. And in this meeting, I started talking with the colleagues, and I found that this is a very productive way of giving from yourself, of sharing your knowledge and of learning from others. So a little bit like 1 year after this, I was invited by the committee, DDRS committee's chair by then, Mary Holrich, to join the committee. And it happened like this. I spent 8 years in DDRS, and many of our colleagues are here. We have produced some good work. And now I'm working in the Copyright and Legal Matters Advisory Committee, and I hope that we will be as productive as we were in the DDRS. So it's up to you, up to your personality. If you like giving, if you like sharing, if you like communicating with colleagues, IFLA is the right place for you to do this.
Thank you. So today you are talking about Interlibrary. As you can see, Interlibrary is in all over the world, and people provide these services. So this is a service, right, Ibrahim?
Sorry, I muted myself. Yes, exactly. As we can see here, we have the word service, and I can read 4 languages here. Service is in English, khidma in Arabic, hizmeti in Turkish, servicio in Italian or Spanish, service de près in French. So the word service is very important in this slide, because I have done my research. So I searched Merriam-Webster dictionary to see how can we define service. So it means the contribution to the welfare of others. So a service means giving from yourself. It is the human aspect of sacrificing your time and your efforts and your knowledge to benefit other people, and they will do the same for you.
Indeed. So as Ibrahim earlier said, as an Italian in heart, Italiano al cuore, I apologize for Italian colleagues, but there's a prestito interbibliotecario could be Spanish and Italian too, I believe. Okay, Interlibrary we are doing is one important element we have to still remember is interlibrary. It's between the libraries. So we are lending library items to a library, not to the users in the library. So this distinction is important. I'm just putting it there so that we are starting from the same page. So Interlibrary has a long history. At least what I can find from the current research done is there were 8th century between European monastery, there was a written record about asking another library to borrow books. And also there was an attempt in 16th century to establish an interlibrary system between I say system, but not about computer, as you can imagine, between France and Vatican. And also lately in 1867, when the American Library Association founded and their first American Libraries magazine, there was a letter from a librarian in Massachusetts asking about the possibility of interlibrary loan. That would be very helpful. So you can see the letter here. It would add greatly to the usefulness of our reference libraries if an arrangement should be made to lend books to each other for a short period of time. In a way, this tells all the basic concept of interlibrary loan. So then I thought, so what would it look like, the interlibrary loan in Middle Age or medieval time? So I tried to generate an images using Gemini. By the way, Gemini doesn't produce any images now. I think this is once I generate this image and then they stop because of some issues. Just think about a medieval monk who was commissioned by his abbé or the king or prince to get some books from a remote libraries in another part of the Europe, another part of the world, and traveling on donkeys and bring these heavy, the medieval manuscript, the tomes in the wood. Maybe the monk can meet with the bandits. And this could be a very interesting medieval saga of interlibrary loan librarian. I'm sure that there are many authors could think about something like that. And also I know that among our colleagues, there are authors. So you can think about a saga of a medieval interlibrary loan librarian. So maybe after months of this hardship, trouble, the monk finally arrived in their library with the requested books, and that it turned out, oh, this is not the volume that I needed. Something like that might happen, and then you can write a sequel from there too. So this is just a joke. Anyway, so for many years, resource sharing librarians are focused on various things. So Ibrahim, maybe could you add here what you think about what we are doing so far?
Yes, so in this slide, we always have presentation on the best systems and the best technology to use in resource sharing and how to discover collection and figures and statistics, rules and policies, turnaround time. But these are all the tangible assets that we can measure. Behind each and every service here, there is the intangible, the human aspect of people working. The backbone of every service or of every number is a human. So let's think, for example, about the turnaround time. If we don't have motivated librarians who are willing to do the service very fast, we will not get this number, like we will not get a good turnaround time. But when we have people who are motivated, it is the human being who do this. So the intangible asset, the thing that we cannot measure, is our people in the library. We should focus on them, motivate them, and keep them active. A little example about the worth of intangible assets is that companies sometimes are when we evaluate companies, we evaluate the tangible assets and the intangible assets. For example, I searched Disney. Disney intangible assets are $86.8 billion. The intangible assets of Disney is $90 billion. So it is more than their tangible assets. So our asset in the library is our people. And this is what we should focus on. And if you want me to, I continue here, Peter. Should I? About the
Yes, please
Starbucks?
Go ahead. I think there is some errors in my side. Maybe I moved the slide too fast.
So
So
can
is
we
it
go
okay?
back to the Starbucks? Yeah.
Starbucks, yes.
Yeah. So this is also an example of the importance of the human aspect. Starbucks have changed their mission statement in 2023. So between 1990 and 2023, they were focusing on providing the best service, on providing the best coffee, the best experience as to the product. They were focusing on the product. However, in 2023, they changed their mission. So it becomes, with every cup, with every conversation, with every community, we nurture the limitless possibilities of human connection. So the focus is on community, conversation, connection. The people are the focus here. So this is what we should focus on in our work.
Yes, indeed, that is important. So just going back a little bit, so that's why we put this slide Interlibrary starts from the relationship making among the colleagues. And so there are, I think Ibrahim briefly mentioned earlier about differences between the systems and humans. And so there are times that technology works, but also there are these human elements became more and more important. I think the example was what happened during COVID-19, and we made things happen regardless of the systems, right, Ibrahim?
Exactly. Yeah, so this is what we have all experienced in 2019 and 20, the COVID shutdown and the response to the COVID shutdown. So the system is very important, the technology is very important, but when we were brainstorming about this, me and Peter, we were thinking, so what is the difference? How can we differentiate between system and human? So I was thinking about the start of civilization. We know that the start of civilization, civilization started when we start recording, when we start writing, the early civilization. But we know that before, people were sharing their knowledge. They have the know-how, they share it to their peers or to their ancestor or to their siblings. So they have this sharing, they have knowledge and they share it. And this is the human aspect, but the technology, the writing is the technology. So once we had the technology, people were able to share widely more using the writing. They can share with other people around the world. They can share across culture, across time as well. So the technology is, the base is the human aspect, the human work. However, the technology is the one that make our work faster or more efficient. And I don't know if I have time to give an example about AI, because many people are like doubtful about AI, if it will take our work or not. So it is the same example. AI is the technology. It's not the human aspect. It's not people working and producing. So AI is a technology. It will make our work more better, faster, but AI cannot work if they don't base their work on our human knowledge, on the knowledge that we have already registered in databases that we have produced before. So they use this knowledge base to produce works in a more advanced way.
Okay, thank you. So again, how to make a close relationship? As we talked about the humans, importance of the humans, and how can we make a closer relationship? So we try to share how to make a closer relations among the colleagues, and we are trying to give you a couple of tips which you already knew well. As I said, this is just not a new information presentation, but this is a refresher course. So Ibrahim had started some of the tips that he found is useful. Maybe Ibrahim, could you go? Sorry for making you guys talk.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Even if we did this presentation like as a group, as a team, so we can share it. But feel free to talk about, even if I introduced the idea.
I can enjoy my coffee meanwhile.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, here we were talking about what tips can we give people on how they make close professional relationships, of course. So most of our work now is online. After COVID-19, we are meeting online, we are doing a lot of things online. So online networking is very important, but online networking requires more attention because we don't know the person. We didn't hear the voice of this person, for example. We only know his profile on LinkedIn, or we know little about this person. So we need to have more attention on how to approach, especially with the cultural differences. And we need to do more research about this person. So when I meet someone online, I do some kind of research to see who is this person, so I can approach him the right way. So online networking is very important, but it is more critical than physical networking. So Peter, can you?
Yes. So, and then there are important things. For example, once we meet each other online or in person, follow-up is also another important way to continue the relations. And also there are small things you can do. You can be a little bit flexible. If it doesn't take too much of your time when someone asks, why you offer them? And then this small favor, maybe it's a small for you, but it could be huge help for the others who receive. And this will make your relationship even closer. And also it is important that maybe I will have, there are other slides in the after this, but important thing is we are similar, but also we are not the same. So acknowledging the cultural differences are important thing. So let me move forward. So for example, the conference is an important venue. We can, meet others, network. Attending a conference in person became more and more expensive, so it is difficult. But still, having these types of webinar, it is another small conference. If you see the chat box, you will see from where we are all here. We are from all over the world. You can see people, the colleagues from Spain, Italy, Lebanon, Sweden, Singapore, Korea, and New Zealand. So this is the way that we can find people, we can meet the people. So if you are now currently struggling something from Singapore or something from Korea, try to find the participants here who are from those countries and then try to connect them. You can ask them on behalf of your patron. The worst thing they can say is no, but still you can try. And also, there are many small conferences that you might be able to attend, even local one. You can just enjoy for one day. Especially when you meet your colleagues face to face, I assure you things become a lot easier and smoother once you know the person's face. And also, while you are working on your computer, on your system, because a lot of times interlibrary transaction happens through the system, through the software, but always think about this way. There are another person sitting on other side of the network. So it is all human connecting via this network. So when you think about the people behind the screen, then you might see things differently. So as this is a part of IFLA DDRS committee webinar, and the IFLA DDRS committee organizes biannual conferences. So this year, 2024, we have a conference in Azerbaijan, in Baku, Azerbaijan, and ADA University Library. So this is a wonderful occasion to meet with the colleagues from the part of the world where you may not see often. And I believe in this webinar, we have Elchin, the library director at the ADA University Library here to talk briefly about his preparation for the conference. I don't know, Elchin, can you talk a little bit about the conference? Is Elchin here? Yes.
I am here. Hi,
Hey.
everyone. Nice to see you, even online. Hope to see you in October in person, hopefully. Thank you granting me some opportunity to share information about the upcoming conference. And hello to our participants. Thank you for coming and being here with us. So ILDS 18th this year, October 28 and 30, will be in AD University, Baku, Azerbaijan. So the theme of the conference is from global to local, diversity and inclusiveness in resource sharing. That, as you see, the main, the central idea is diversity, inclusiveness, and we will try to disclose, shed on light on the topics like artificial intelligence, digital technology opportunities to impact resource sharing more deep to the various communities in terms of the culture, language, and etc. Also to share open access ideas and the concepts with the community. So the all kind of related topics will be accepted, and the language of the conference will be in English and in Russian, especially the people from the east part of the world may join, especially from the Central Asia, from the post-Soviet countries can join this conference and be part of the event. Of course, we have more English-speaking auditorium. So everybody welcome to attend this conference. And we all believe that this conference will be significant, make some additional value for the future of the resource sharing, for global collaboration between the countries in terms of the library resources, archival resources, and etc. The website of the conference actually is ready. The people can just visit our website. All information, all primary information included. There are contact information. Just feel free, get in touch with us, any questions. The call for papers and the call for posters parts are open. Just feel free, be our speakers or just active participant. So hope to see you soon, October in Baku. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to share this information with our audience. Thank you.
Thank you, Elchin. So this will be, again, a great opportunity to network with the colleagues from Central Asia and former Soviet republics. And also I added here a sentence, you can also work at the conference. You never know. I was in Doha, Qatar a couple of years ago. And while I was in a conference, I received a frantic email from my colleagues in Princeton who was asking a very hard to find materials that is published in Lebanon. And I was at the conference. I was, as usual, just checking email. I should not do that, but checking email during the conference session and found that email. What happened was I was sitting next to Carla, whose picture you saw earlier. Carla is from Lebanon. So this is perfect opportunity. So I asked Carla, hey, Carla, this is something that we need. And Carla immediately acted upon it. And within an hour or two, we were able to get the material digitized. So my colleagues in Princeton was amazed how you could do that while you're on a conference. Well, this is the magic of Interlibrary and resource sharing librarian. So who knows, while you are in Baku, somebody wants something from Azerbaijan or some other Central Asian countries, then you may show your magic from there.
Exactly.
So
this
yeah,
is the human
indeed.
power.
Indeed, this is the human power. So how to make a closer relationship again? We have to thank lenders. The lenders, they can say no, they can always say no, but they are saying yes to help us. So thank you note is another one of the important way to make the closer relationship. And also, don't be offended when lenders said no. There are other reasons. Doesn't mean that they hate you and they don't like you. And also, with the international interlibrary, let's remember that not everyone is using English. So current other tools might be useful, but still you have to be more understanding and flexible and open your mind to try to read between the lines and what they really mean. As I said, we may use different languages, but also we are the same species. We are the species of resource sharing librarian, and we are working on the same goal. So in a way, sometimes the language is not, enough to understand each other, but still we have the same goal. So based on that, we can understand each other. And also let's remember that we are similar, but not the same. The librarian status is different. It's a varied one country after another, between the countries, and also rules and policies. Sometimes we cannot really ask others to do certain thing is okay in one country, but maybe not okay in other countries. So we have to remember that. And also not everyone has the same resources. That's important considerations. And also sometimes people, I see that, kind of not really complaining, but they are, not happy because other side make the mistake. But also, hey, we are all human. We can also make the mistake. And if these things repeated, then send an email, the email go nowhere and no one answer you a question, then if possible, why don't you call them? Talking to the person might be a better way to solve the problems. And also when you provide them, when you give them or extra favor, just don't expect they will pay you back. Then, if you are providing something while expecting something, that's not a healthy way of giving. Just give them. And also, without breaking the rule, just be flexible. If it's only a couple of minutes for your time, why not? Just provide them.
Yes, I can share one of my stories about when we first start using Received, the new version of Received. So the first one of the first requests we placed on Received, we got it from a library in Pakistan that we don't know. We didn't share with this library exactly before. So my colleague here at the University of London, she asked me, how can we thank them for providing this article to us? We couldn't have an email, so I told her the best way to thank them is when they request, we should be the first people who respond to them. So this is one way of thanking people, that you respond to their request, you give from yourself to respond to their request. And in this, because we are talking about thanking people, so I have this idea. We always have crazy ideas, actually.
I'm scared now, Ibrahim.
Maybe this is for Silvana and Peter Collins. So why we don't introduce a way of putting an emoji, for example, on the art when we receive an article on the request, we can put an emoji of like or love on the emojis, so people who lend to us can see that we appreciate their efforts. So Peter, resource sharing, OCLC, and Silvana, maybe you can work on this.
Okay, so I think our time is approaching to the end. So this is the thank you note that the libraries share once you receive an item from other libraries. And you can see a lot of interesting images. And all this about when you receive an item from others and you return them, you can thank them to the lenders. And one particular one, by the way, this one is shared through the Facebook group, where it's all started from a story in which the library director doesn't want to spend time to send thank note because this is your job, lending is your job, and why you thank, borrowing and lending is part of your job, so why you thank each other. But again, people can say no always, so we have to thank them, and this is important. And while doing that, there's one of the particular theme. There's a squirrel thank you message from the Vanderbilt, and they shared it. And also, I got a message from Robin from Vanderbilt. And especially in her message, I found really interesting quotes here. We are doing radically collaborative nature of resource sharing. Indeed, there are not many fields or professions that collaborate as much as what we do. And especially the sense of community that is particularly unique in the scholarly world. That's who we are and what we are. Let's remember that. We are, so radical collaboration, I think I heard someone said before, but anyway, this is what we do. And all these pictures, beautiful squirrel pictures, are hand-drawn by a student who is sitting at the center of this picture at Vanderbilt. And thank you, Robin, for sharing this. So, as a final ending words, Ibrahim and I choose two quotes to end this session. So maybe I'll let you, Ibrahim, you go first.
Okay, no problem. So I received a couple of weeks ago an article from my friend Peter Collins about copyright and AI, and this is taken from this article. So in our head, when we write a poem or make a movie, or all the poems we have read or movies we have seen, philosophers build on the work of prior philosophers. Historians rely on other historians. The same principle applies really to life. Living is a group effort. So everything we do in life is a group effort. If we don't act as a team, as a group, we cannot achieve much. And I like this quote so much. Go ahead.
Okay, so I choose one from a recent movie from last year called The Past Lives. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. I'm not going to give you a spoiler, but in which they are talking about a very particular Korean word called the inyan. Inyan is, in a way, the providence of fate could be translated in English as like that. But many Koreans says, or some believes, I believe, that when two strangers pass each other without talking on the street, that means there is thousands of this fate or their relations happened in their previous life, in their past lives. Even those two people pass by without talking, still there are relations happened in their previous life. Then what about us here? We are all at the same time, in the same place, virtually still, just talking about the same interest, same topic that we are interested in. So how precious our relationship it is here. So let's value that. The main thing that I wish to say is that I really thank you for all of you, what you are doing for our patron and what you are doing for each other. And that is really precious things. And let's remember our relations is one of the most beautiful things in the world. So we librarians are dreaming of a better world. Sounds very cheesy, but still, we are trying to make the better world by one book at a time, one article at a time. And let's be proud of it. The world is becoming more and more, how can I say, difficult to see sometimes, but still the world needs someone who dream for a better future. And I hope that we are the one who dream and then who can help to make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ibrahim, do you have any final words?
Just for every person, we might be invisible, but for us and for the patron, we are the heroes of our work. We are contributing with one article, but this is a huge if we do it broadly. So thank you, everyone. And just I want to apologize for not being able to hear your voices because we cannot host 500 people in a regular call. So feel free to chat, and we are ready to answer. Thank you, everyone.
Yep. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Peter and Ibrahim. As you can see, people have been really impressed by your words. It's a nice way to start the day since I'm starting my day here in Baltimore, Maryland, with such a positive message. Thank you. I'm going to paste a link into the chat inspired by one of the comments. Rachel asked about sharing information of registrants. And of course, we didn't ask people's permission to do that. So I'm not going to be able to share that list, but I did make a spreadsheet at the recommendation of another committee member. So it really is teamwork. In fact, I think it might be a former committee member to voluntarily share your information. If you're interested in finding or connecting with others who are doing similar work or who are working in your region, please feel free to share your information in that spreadsheet. I made it just now, so I really hope it works. And if there are any problems, of course, you can share that now. I'm seeing lots of thank yous and expressions of gratitude, but if there are questions, I would invite you to share them now.
Or any feedbacks you think as well.
Yes, of course. If you have comments or even opposite opinions, we can host those now. All right, so our first question is, how long have each of you been involved in IFLA?
Peter, go ahead first.
No, I think you have longer.
Okay. Thank you, Melissa, and I'm happy to see you here. Melissa is my boss at the Copyright and Legal Matters. Yeah, I have been involved with IFLA since, actively involved since 2011. I worked in the DDRS committee for 8 years and with the Copyright and Legal Matters now. But we have many other work going informally, but this is the formal work we have done.
So for me, as an official IFLA standing committee member, I started in 2013. But before that, I attended several IFLA conferences. So IFLA has, in August, there is a World Library Information Congress. When that happens, Also, there are satellite meetings surrounding the hosting city. So I think my first attendance was one of the satellite meeting in 2007 or 8 when it happened in Boston Public Library. So that was my involvement. But IFLA is for all of you. Why don't you join? And standing committee members may attend. It may require travel, but also there are many different ways of participating online, for example.
Thank you. We have, we've had multiple questions about the spreadsheet. And of course, I was sharing the link with just the presenters. So now I've hopefully shared it in the chat, and I'll do that a few more times in case it has sped past you. And I think it was not editable by others, but now it should be. So please add comments in the chat if there are more problems with the spreadsheet, because we can fix them quickly with the tools that we have available. We do have another question. The question is, oh, of course, I've lost it. The question was, is it recommended to place requests in the native language of country requesting from using Google Translate or AI?
I would say whichever it works, possibly. If, for example, the English is common language and translating. So here's the thing, let's say this way. If someone requests something to another library, there's a basic, purpose of the email there. So even though it is a little bit, difficult language, but still, in a way, because we have the same goal, it is understandable. So in a way, if we can find a language that is understandable for both sides, that would be fine. And also, if you can find someone else who can speak other languages in your library, maybe you can ask the help. We are resourceful. Sometimes I try to use the AI or other translation tool, but also because I do not know the language, sometimes I'm not sure whether this translation is good or not. But now with the AI, sometimes I try to, ask AI to rewrite it or make it better. So, my hope is that will make it better. So I'm not sure if I'm answering the question properly, but whichever is convenient to you, whichever that will make the others understand. Understanding is more important than language itself, I believe. And maybe this is something that I'm asking to DDRS committee, since I'm not a standing committee member anymore. So maybe DDRS committee can work on some kind of online request form from which it can generate a request in PDF format, for example. Then it will make a lot easier for many.
Thank you, Peter. And I see that Miriam is sharing that she has posed her request in English and also used Google Translate and made it clear that that's what she had used, so that both options are available. And I think going back to your theme of building relationships, all options are on the table. People can only say no or ask more questions. So it's a good opportunity. We have more questions. Another question for our panelists that, this is a comment that I think echoes with what you've said. Everyone needs to think that even a negative answer still makes a contribution to your research.
Indeed.
You may learn something about how materials can be accessed in another country or can't, what sort of limitations exist. So I think that's useful. Erica McNeil would like to know if you want to say a few words on the development of Hermes. And I think at least one of you, if not both, were involved in that.
We were both involved.
Go Ibrahim.
Yeah, so we understand each other very well after 10 years of knowing each other. Yeah, we were both involved in it, but okay, so it all started was received when we first had the COVID-19 pandemic. The DDRS committee decided, the first shutdown was in Italy, and we have Italian colleagues in the DDRS committee. So as you know, we are heroes. We want to save the world. We want to save Italians. So Peter, Silvana, and other committee members, they suggested that we help to develop like a tool so we can deliver articles to Italy, to Italian libraries, because they were shut down. And then received evolved into other countries and it became very popular. So also our Italian colleagues, Silvana mainly, proposed that we apply for an Erasmus Plus fund, European fund, to make received more sustainable. In order to apply, we need European institutions or Mediterranean institutions. So 5 institutions have applied from Lebanon, Italy, Turkey, IFLA. We applied to Hermes. In one goal, we have a goal to make received more sustainable. So we won 200,000 euros, I guess, to develop received. And we were able to produce 3 outputs. The first one was a publication. I don't know Peter Collins, or because Peter Collins worked on it. He was a editor, so maybe you can share a link to the publication. Also, we produced many training videos or training. We did training workshops in person or virtual. They are available on YouTube as well. And the last thing is that we produced a state-of-the-art software for received. And talking about the languages, received is now available in 4 languages. So, and we are planning to add more languages to it. So if you haven't if you didn't start using received, you can start using it now. If we can put also a link to the received webpage, this will be amazing.
Yep,
So
Silvana has shared that in the chat.
Yeah. So it all started by thinking, by being active, by being motivated to help Italians. And then we didn't finish actually, we will not finish. We are now having received a global free of charge resource sharing software.
Great. We do have another question. This chat, of course, speeds by very quickly on my small laptop screen. For those who haven't used IFLA in a while, I presume for interlibrary loan, is there a website or could there be a webinar to refresh my memory of the workflow? I do love the human touch, but it usually starts with a request. So I think this person is wondering, how do they get started using IFLA to facilitate interlibrary loan requests internationally?
So using IFLA for interlibrary loan is, in a way, the workflow is very loose, if I remember that. So there was IFLA request form in the past. I think it is still available from the IFLA website. But most important thing is, I think you have to find who owns the item that you are looking for. There are some contexts, which I think all those things, we have to refresh the website and all the other information. But once you know them, and then you can communicate them via email or others. And then depending on the lending library's condition, you might have to pay the fee with IFLA vouchers or free. I believe there is a new toolkit that Lapis Cohen from University of Pennsylvania and others have worked on. It was shared in the chat box. And then, you can use that. It's not officially IFLA website, but you can find some information about international libraries. That this might give you some, maybe the starting point where you start. And also the Hermes website will have all other information in coming days. So you can use that. So I don't know if this is a workflow per se, but this is what you can do.
Yeah, I think probably I'll gather the resources that have been mentioned so far and those that we haven't shared, but we all know exist. We can gather some of the relevant links in order to share them along with this presentation and links back to the recording on our various social media feeds and listservs. The places that you saw the announcement for this webinar, you'll be able to get all that information that we'll be able to gather for you.
Yep.
Okay. Are there more questions? Have I missed any? I want to highlight what's on the screen now. The IFLA Document Delivery and Resource Sharing Standing Committee has nearly finished its very first webinar. Congratulations again to Peter and Ibrahim for helping us facilitate this International
I have a
connection.
final question for the
Yes,
audience.
please.
So we tried here to present in a new way, like we have one presentation, we are commenting, both of us. So we want your feedback about the presentation. If you can have like short feedback from you on how do you find the presentation before we leave. Sorry, Sarah, for interrupting.
That's great. And I would say, Ibrahim and Peter, please share your contact information if you're willing to on that spreadsheet. I know some people have commented that they can't access it, and I've received a message on the spreadsheet that when it's being used by a large number of people, it makes it difficult. So just keep that link and wait a few minutes after the webinar. You may get a chance to edit the spreadsheet to share contact information. And thank you. I see Peter has shared his in the chat already. The upcoming webinars do not have set dates, but, oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I see that Miriam is asking, should they say 2025? And I really don't know why they say 2025. I must have had a confused moment in my brain. They all should say 2024. These opportunities are happening in 2024, May, August, and November. The next one will be similar to this one in that it will be English language focused. And the second two in the year will be Spanish and or Portuguese language focused. We are hoping to get translation services, although we cannot say yet whether that will be the case. But we encourage you to participate as you can. And of course, you've heard about the Interlending and Document Supply Conference that is coming later this year in October in Baku from Elchin. So thank you so much. If we missed any questions in the chat as I've been speaking in these last few minutes, please feel free to follow up and ask them, and we will do our best to address the various comments, questions, resources that have been shared in the follow-up information that we share. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for attending the meeting, especially those from Singapore further east. You have to go to bed. Good night.
Thank you everyone for being here today. We are very overwhelmed by your presence from all over the world. We're really happy to see this, and we hope that we see this in the future as well. Thank you very much.